We're seeing more people, more than ever, reinvent their lives in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Seeing 90-year-olds run marathons, new careers, new passions, new relationships, new levels of health. Middle age is actually a peak time for reinvention. And let's just stop calling it a midlife crisis, okay? Because you're at peak time. You have perspective, you have all that juicy lived experience, and a serious no more time to waste filter. How about that filter? I just started reading a book called 4,000 Weeks. Man, what a slap in the face. You've carried everyone else for years, and now it's your turn. So if part of you is whispering, there's got to be more than this, that voice isn't selfish. When I look back at my own life and the big things that I did, the quitting smoking, the writing a book, the taking my show on the road with a one-woman show, the running marathons, there's a pattern that shows up every single time. It wasn't just about my body. It was my mind, the stories that I tell myself. Your cells are always listening, right? It's my body, the way I move and treat myself. Like, what's going into this engine? And how am I servicing it the way I would a car? And my purpose? Of course, the why behind it all. Your purpose is with you the moment that you were born. And it comes with you through every part of your life. You don't have to go looking for it. It's there with you right now. And when those things line up, we come into a thing which is what I like to call flow. And I talked about that in my video last week. I'll make sure that I link it below just in case you didn't catch it. But things don't become perfect, but sometimes they feel more possible. You get that quiet little yes in your chest when you get to jump out of bed. And that's the framework that I like to use every single month. Mind, body, and purpose working together. I like to look at it before each month. And instead of looking at all the categories that you can look at, like, how we do that yearly, we're coming up, on a new year now, depending on when you watch this video. And it's classic, right? You sit down and you try to figure out all the areas of your life that you want to improve. And by the time you walk away, you have a list of bajillion goals. And they're stacked on top of the ones that you didn't reach last year because it's too much, right? So let's take it down to the big questions. Before you change anything in your life, you have to know where you are and what you actually want, right? That's why I'm going to walk you through these questions right now. So if you are watching me right now and you have access to a pen and a piece of paper or a journal of your own, I want you to pull out that now. You can put me on pause and go and get it. And if you're in a place where you can't do that, go ahead and save this video so you can come back to it. And if you like, you can just follow along and write your answers in the comments below. So let's begin with the first question is, what area of your life would you most like to improve right now? It's a simple question, right? It doesn't mean that you're broken, okay? It's just, what area of your life would you like to improve? Just think of one thing, just one thing. The first thing that comes is usually the right thing. Not 10 things, one area. Maybe it's your energy, your health. Maybe it's got to do with creativity or relationships, your work. Name it. When you name it, you can take it out of the fog in the brain or the mumble jumble that, gets all mixed up in there, and put it in front of you where you can actually work with it. Okay, you got that? Okay, so let's go on to question number 2. Now, describe a perfect day. Now, we're not talking about those vision board perfect days, 100 million days into the future. What we are talking about is like a realistic day, okay? A day in the life of you right now. How would it be perfect? If you had a magic wand and you could design an ordinary perfect Tuesday, what would you do? How would you move your body? When would you maybe go for a walk? What would you do on the side? Like, what would you do as a hobby if you have one? And what would you create if you are a creative person? Time is not a limit. What would you do? Most people can describe their worst day in detail, right? If I asked you what was the worst day you ever had, you'd probably remember it. And I'm sorry that you had a bad day. We all have them. But it's important to know what your ideal baseline is. And that's the purpose of this specific question. This reconnects you with your desire, not just your duty. So you can really lean into this one, turn on some nice music, maybe set a timer for 5 minutes and free write and see what comes up, right? You can think about what's coming up right this moment, and then you can use this again tomorrow as, say, a writing prompt after you've had some time to just kind of marinate on what this question is. Are you ready for the next question? Okay, here we go. What kinds of activities do you naturally gravitate to? I think you know which ones mine are, but I want to hear from you. This is not what you think that you should like. Okay, so let's back out of that, right? What do you actually enjoy? Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's taking the dog for a walk, reading, creating, being outdoors, helping people, organizing your stuff. These clues are gold. We all have something that we love to do and we do it really well, but we kind of hide it or save it for, when there's time. They're signposts, and they're pointing you right to your purpose. That thing that you have that nobody has, that you do, that you enjoy. It's not supposed to be hard. Every day is not supposed to be hard. You can write that down if you need to put it on a mantra somewhere. These questions, they changed everything for me, and they continue to change everything for me. Maybe you've had these questions in front of you before and you're like, well, I've already answered those. But I encourage you to answer them again, because every 30 days, you're going to be in a new spot. And as long as you keep those ideas in motion, that creative life in motion, more clarity comes, and you're in a different spot, and you'll see it in a different way. And more things will open up because you've allowed this part of your brain to activate. And it's a ripple effect of more ideas and more joy that comes into your life. But just like everything, it's consistency. You can't transform anything until you know where you want to go and where you're starting from. Isn't that right? For me, walking was the gateway. One walk became a week of walks, right? And a week became a month, and a month became a year. And it's that consistency that breeds other consistency in other areas of your life. I became a group fitness instructor. I ran marathons, full marathons. I wrote a book and built a whole new chapter in my life because I went for a walk. Doesn't that sound bananas? It just started with a decision. And that wasn't even really a decision. It was kind of a forced decision. While my feet were moving, I finally had space to think, to process, maybe open up a dream again, which is exactly what happened. As you watch this, I want you to remember, maybe it's not just your daily walk is getting steps in. Maybe it's your time to ask yourself those questions. Take out your earbuds, bring your voice recorder, go for a walk, and start really just daydreaming on those questions to answer them for yourself. Take some time to marinate with them for a week. Come back and revisit them until you're really yeah. You can't change what you don't look at. You know that. In the next video of this series, we're going to talk about a topic that most people avoid, and it's the reason why they stay stuck. It's called the reality check. I'm going to walk you through a time inventory that shows you exactly where your days are really going and why it feels like there's never enough time for you. I'm also going to go into the time-space dilemma. Is it more time you need, or is it just more space? And I'm going to share with you how you can turn space into time. Okay, we're not going to go that deep and scientific, but it's really one that you're really not going to want to miss. Most people are shocked when they, see it on paper. So if you're ready to stop feeling invisible, which I really don't think you feel invisible, but you're here because you know there's more. Is that right? Let me know. We're going to start taking your time back. Click over to this next video right here, The Brutal Truth, where your life is actually going. If this spoke to you, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss the rest of the series. Okay? You're not done. We're just getting started. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.